Thank you very much, Mr. Baird.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I appreciate all of our witnesses being here today. I just think this kind of discussion is extremely good as we try to make decisions about the budget and so on. But my first question goes to Dr. Whitson. I just want to compliment you for serving as the commander of the International Space Station, not once, but twice. So that had to be an interesting experience. I'm not sure I'm ready to go with Dr. Olson yet, so I think I'll take a while to get in shape. But anyway, you make mention, I found this interesting, you make mention about the early stages of human habitation on the moon's surface, and while we're taking advantage of local resources. And then someone mentioned water again, as you did in your testimony. So I guess my question is how applicable is it that we make a test run to the moon maybe and take advantage of some of the resources there as we try to go to Mars? Is that an essential component to our research?
I think it will be. We have found so many things in the 20 years of operating on ISS that, you know, we have brilliant engineers, but once we get it up there and we test it out, we find out, well, maybe we ought to modify it to work better. And I think doing some of that exploratory testing on the lunar surface can help us be better prepared for what we will find when we get to Mars, because that's a lot farther away. And so being better prepared is going to make the mission more likely to succeed. But I think taking advantage of those resources that we can find on the moon potentially could even serve as a fuel depot and send us out to Mars even easier. So that's another option for us, that we would build on this stepping stone of infrastructure to get us further and further out into space. So I really do feel that those steps are going to be important for us. And it's a good place for us to learn, where we're just a few days away from Earth rather than, 6-8 months.
I share your concern there. Anyway. My second question also goes to Dr. Whitson, and that's regarding, the public's attention is drawn many times to the NASA's activities in outer space, and yet we continue to work with critical forward-leaning technologies such as low-boom supersonic demonstrators and hypersonic aircraft. So the question is, how can NASA best serve our nation's needs for aviation research and development, and how should we focus in our limited resources when it comes to aeronautics?
Well, I definitely think NASA is still doing a lot of cutting-edge research in aeronautics as well as space research. So I am very supportive of what we're doing to develop supersonic space flight. I think it'll be a great spin-off, maybe even used by commercially for other companies within the United States, hopefully building new aircraft that are going to take us further and faster. But also all of the software and other technologies developed to keep aircraft safe while in the really low Earth orbit.
Thank you. My next question then goes to Dr. Stoffen, and that deals with, we're starting a new Congress here, and we have an opportunity to take a critical look at NASA's near-term goals and their aspirations. So my first question is, what should NASA be focused on in the next year or two? And then what issues demand the agency's immediate attention? And I think some of that has been addressed already, but just for my sake, would you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, to me, the most critical thing, if you look at NASA over the next couple of years, it's going to be maintaining the critical balance that NASA has across astrophysics, earth science, planetary science, and heliophysics. Maintaining that scientific balance, making sure the investments are being made to gather data from space weather came up earlier, to making sure that we're gathering data that helps farmers around the country, helps us understand our water resources around this country. Those data are critical, and we need to pay attention to those critical data sets. And as we move forward, saying what is a sustainable, affordable plan for getting humans into deep space is critical. And then I'm very in favor and happy you brought up the supersonics, the hypersonic work that NASA does, those investments really help move our aviation forward in this country. So,
Thank you. And Dr.
Thank you very much.